Oh, no countdown.
I went right live because we were running a little bit late. I wish it's
Uh,
actually not true. I just forgot how to do it. So we don't have any viewers anyways yet, so that's okay.
Yeah, so we're down from 4 amigos to 2 amigos today.
That's
I actually
right.
didn't even get. I've got
But I would like to say we're the real amigos.
the real amigos.
Yes.
That's right.
Have you ever seen the movie Three Amigos?
Hey.
Have you seen Three Amigos?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right. Just making sure. So obviously this is Memorial Day in the United States, and so we all had a day off today, and you had to work. So congratulations, I guess. Well, wait, it's Tuesday there though, right?
It's Tuesday here, mate.
Yeah. So you're like in the
me.
future.
You got to remember the hobby challenge starts tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, the episode that we've got. Hey, we got a few viewers. Hey, we got our stalwart. He's here every single week. We got to give him
Who's that?
Param.
Oh, Param. Oh, and I actually need to give a shout out. I think this will be the first time my bride will be watching me live on. I think she's watching today. So
what?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I didn't even comb my hair.
20 years in, and I get my first view on YouTube.
She desperate or what? What's going on? She didn't have anything better to do on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to see my face during the day, mate? Let's be honest.
Well, it's Aussie all the time, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But so obviously, I had a great weekend of just hanging out with the family and doing a bunch of stuff. What'd you do this past weekend? Anything exciting?
Sorry. What was that? I was trying to get the live stream for comments going, and the sound came over the top.
No, what'd you do this last weekend? Anything exciting?
I actually had a game, a real life game. Yeah.
Did you stream it or record it?
No, I did not.
Okay,
I did not, and it was not written up from UB or anything like that. So I had a game yesterday against my good friend.
That's my comment all the time. I'm always digging Matt's attire. Now, Matt, do you pick out your own clothes, or does your wife have some does she help?
No, I picked them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you a better look, Param. There we go.
That's amazing. It's like a jungle print.
It is. It's got some little toucans in there somewhere.
Yeah. Now you don't have toucans in Australia, I assume.
No. Not a native bird. So I took some Brother Mark for a run at 2,300 points, and got absolutely destroyed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was trying out a new list based on stuff I've got painted, and it's a list with pretty much zero chaff. So, but lots of hammers. I'd run the Brother Mark formation in it, I got absolutely destroyed by an ogre list that runs. I tell you what's good: the combination of 3 warlocks and Nom Nom, the big deal.
Wait, he had 3 warlocks and Nom Nom?
3 warlocks and Nom Nom.
That's really good. Yeah, that's really good.
And on all of those, he took Drain Life on all the warlocks too.
Yeah.
He had the big deal and Kuzlo. Big deal and Kuzlo as a combination.
Hey, you're so yeah. So I the power. So funny story is I played a game this weekend too. I finally got to play my my Bug Eater list, which is we talked about it last week. It's 4 Siegebreaker hordes, a regiment of a troop of chariots with the boots. Nice, dude. I was able to oh, by the way, these are nimble.
Yeah.
So the problem is they just get hammered, right? Like they don't have any staying. Like they deliver their payload and then they die.
Yeah.
Unless you're hitting chaff.
Well, the thing about like big deal is that you end up with basically him and another unit that has brutal too. And then you've got Kuzlo hanging around reducing your nerve because it's not dread. So it's still
correct. So I showed up at the long story short, I had loaned one of our local players some terrain to do the Blue Sea Brawl. So I met him at the shop to pick up my terrain, and more details on that. I had some equipment failure this weekend that we'll talk about later, but I showed up at the shop expecting to play my punching bag Taylor with his Abyssal Dwarves, and instead I got Brian Swatley, who is a much better player. No offense, Taylor. But he had a really nasty undead list, right? Like it was, what was it? It was two regiments of Soul Reaver infantry, Soul Reaver cavalry regiment, 2 regiments of zombies, I think, a white horde, 3 Wraith troops. It was,
Yeah.
and then it had like all the characters. You had like Lady Ionia, you had a Lich King, and then you had 3 other necromancers. So like, like heal and stuff, no problem. But what's funny is the last few times I played that list with my army, he just destroys me because like, yeah, I have defense 6, right? But like everybody, Soul Reavers and Lady Ionia don't give a crap about defense 6, right? Whites don't give a shit about defense 6, and so, but he was out of practice.
Yep.
And like made 2 critical like mistakes. The first one is I had a battle line, and he forgot that Mammoth charge is 14. So I was like, 14 right into the Soul Reaver cavalry. Rolled a 6 for Rampage, but didn't kill him, but I did waver him, right?
Yeah, right.
And that unit had Headstrong, and he failed the Headstrong roll in the next turn.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. And then like, just that was one big one. And then another one, he took a Soul Reaver. So he was play testing this Bard character we have for Kings of Memphis, and the Bard he was using had Rally 1, which is very good in his army, and it has 3 spells you can cast, one of them being a Strider Aura once per game. So he casts the Strider Aura, sends the Soul Reaver into the difficult terrain, and just and Bane Chants him, and just murders the Siegebreaker Horde, right? But rather than staying where he is, he pivots just a little bit. And because he pivots, now I can withdraw the other one that are into the zombies, withdraw, see you pivot, and smash. And so those 2 mistakes kind of gave me the game. Not remembering the 14 charge on the big deal, and then reforming inadvertently there. But you're right. I have Madfall on my list, and this was the first time I legitimately used Madfall correctly. He went up a flank and was like running around, and there was a time where I was like affecting 2 or 3 of his units and none of mine, which is always good when you can do that, which is hard to do.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't have a lot of shooting in my list, so Tony put him still in the middle of his lines, which allowed me most of the time I've seen Kuzlo used out on a flank, like you said, where he's not going to affect your own stuff, but he can essentially hold a flank with not much else. But it was really interesting because having him in the middle with my limited shooting meant I got an early waiver off on a Horde of Warriors, which held him back, but he still had enough other stuff in, like the big deal and everything else to push forward, and he was affecting multiple combats at once. So it was just nuts.
Well, I have used him a few times, and I've used him poorly many times. And if you use him poorly and you get him in, you want to at the very least stack him with Brutal, right? And so sometimes, he's got 5 attacks with Pathfinder hitting on 3s with Crushing 2. So he's juicy in like the flank, right? The problem is if you get him if you bring him into combat, then that probably means whatever on the counterpunch that your own unit's going to be -1 nerve, right? But what I've used him a couple times now is stick him with the Berserker Bully. Dash 14 doesn't really care, right? And the 2 of them, that's 10 attacks hitting on 3s with Crushing 2. And turns out you can kill a regiment of knights with that. Because you're essentially +2, right? Because he's got not dread, and the other dude's got brutal. And if you could throw the big deal on him, even better. But usually he's way on the flank, so he's out of reach there. I think we were playing Dominate this weekend, and one of the things I told Brian is that you have too many characters. You have too many points tied up in not scoring stuff, and that's really was the outcome, right? Because he killed almost everything in my army. I killed almost everything in his army. Like there wasn't much left. I had 1 horde of Siegebreakers, the Mammoth, a couple characters, and that was it, right? But I'm playing Dominate, and that's all that matters as long as I'm in the circle and you're not, And he didn't. Lady Ionia, he actually had a shooting lightning bolt to get rid of these scouts. And I'm like, all right, if you want to chase these guys for 3 turns, all right, that's cool with me, I guess. So, Lady Ionia has always been a bugbear of mine because it's just so ridiculous, right?
How often
8
do you see her
attacks.
run? I reckon I've only seen her on the table once.
I mean, honestly, like she can, if she's coupled with something else, goodbye Siegebreaker Horde. Because I mean, she's got 8 attacks hitting on 3s with crushing 3. So it's like she's gonna give you, 5 or 6 wounds.
Yeah.
Legitimately on a defense.
She's got Duelist, doesn't she?
She does, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have any individuals on my list. So Mark, make sure you tell Colin happy birthday from us to our favorite zombie hunter. Colin Zielinski's birthday was this weekend. But yeah, good list. I still have to paint. I still have to paint Chariot Troop. I'm working on it.
So when's that?
Friday. I gotta leave Friday. So I'm already and Wednesday's shot because I had 2 new players show up that want to learn Vanguard, so I pushed them off a week. So I've got basically Tuesday and Thursday night to get it done. Well, and tonight to get it done. So and I've got to paint that. I got to paint a Chariot Troop, and I've got to paint my Plague Doctor, which came out pretty good. I had Billy printed up. It was the STL model that I showed you guys last week from Hero Forge.
Yeah, got a comment from Chuck there on Facebook.
Awesome.
Poor bugger.
Yeah, she's rough. You know what? It's funny you say that because today I was like, all weekend I was really like, avoiding painting. Right? Like I was like, oh, I have to do all this terrain work. So I have my garage looks like a nuclear bomb went off in it. I mean, it's static grass everywhere. Oh, so here's my story. So last night, for the last couple weeks, I have like a very expensive static grass applicator. It's like over $100 from Woodland Scenics, and I'm using it, and the damn thing shocked the shit out of me. Like I plugged it in, and I don't know what I did, but I put it in, and I must have touched something. There's a short in it, and I thought I was gonna get electrocuted. So, all right, well don't touch the plug, right? So I don't. I'm using it. I'm just very careful. It's working, and then all of a sudden, it's no longer working on AC power. So I'm like, son of a gun. So it does take batteries. It takes a 9-volt. So I put a 9-volt in there, and it looks like it's working. Not as good, right? A 9-volt doesn't have the current that the AC has. So it's not like like before, like you can shake it and you could be like, I don't know, 6 inches away. And it's just like shooting the grass. This one, I got to get real close. But would you believe it shocked me? Like it also has yes. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have to reach out to them. Hey dude, I don't know what's going on. I've only had it for a couple years. This is some hot garbage. I need you to fix it. So that was the negative.
I've never used a static grass applicator, honestly.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I have, however, cut through the mains power of my home with a reciprocating saw accidentally.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I was cutting a hole in my ceiling, and it was an old flat roof house, and I didn't realize the mains power was actually sitting on the top side of the ceiling. And then all the power went out, and if I hadn't been using a battery saw, I probably could be dead.
Yeah. So did you have to get an electrician to come out there and fix it?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'll be honest, electricity and me don't mix. Electricity, like plumbing.
I smelt this burning, and I was like, "What's burning?" Yep, it was the power.
Too much power. So that was my negative of terrain for the weekend, and then I'm going to share a positive thing. Okay. So Friday, there's a company here in the United States called Phoenix Express. If you haven't checked them out,
what's it called?
Phoenix Express.
Phoenix Express. Okay.
Right. They're basically focusing on model railroad. So they've got static grass and tufts, and they have everything. And usually once a year, I place a big order, and I got paid on Friday. So I had my allowance. I'm like, hobby budget time. So I placed an order. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it was about $145. And I bought like a pound of static grass and a whole bunch of stuff, right? 2 hours later, they sent out an email. Hey, bro, we have a Memorial Day sale. 15% off your whole order. I already placed the order. So I am like cussing and fuming. My wife's like, just forget it. It's like $20, whatever. You know what they did today? they refunded me the difference, and I didn't ask for it.
Wow.
Yes. So they had. I mean, I was already a fan for life, but now I'm like the fact that they realized it. Like I placed an order before they sent out the email, but the sale was already in effect.
Yeah.
So they PayPal me they refunded me the difference, which was like $20.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm having a look at their website right now. They've got a fair bit of stuff. Hey, is that where you got the applicator?
You can get that. Woodland Scenics is a mainline brand. You can get that at any hobby store.
Oh, Woodland Scenics, yeah, but Scenic Express is what I'm looking at.
But Scenic Express, but they also sell the Woodland Scenics line, the Woodland Scenic Static app. So the applicator I got, I think, is on sale for like $89. It's all black. It's super awesome, except for the fact it's trying to kill me. Besides that, I'm in good shape, you know. But going back to what I just kind of comment on what Perrin was saying about being fourth. Like all weekend, I was like, I just didn't. I knew I had these things to paint, and you know what I did? I just did everything else, and eventually, like around 3:00 today, I had a nap because I'm old. You know, get up from my nap, like, you know what? I'm gonna paint. So I started painting. So yeah, the worst thing you can do, and everybody knows this, don't force yourself because it'll look like hot garbage if you do, right?
Yeah, I think that's from Paul Collins in Australia. Yeah, that would have worked. The worst thing for me with painting is like I don't like getting all set up for like 15, 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, you got to go. You're going in.
Yeah, because often I'm batch painting. You know, I'm not usually the type of person. Even if I paint an individual model, it'll often be part of a batch.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't bring myself to just set up for 15, 20 minutes. You know, I need an hour plus.
What's interesting is I was going to say something. I haven't painted in a few weeks, maybe 3. What was really cool is I think I shared with you guys. I got that new wet palette.
Yep.
Yeah. Paint was still wet. Well. Paint was still wet. Like 3 weeks later, paint is still wet.
My paint's still wet, but what do you do with? Because the color kind of runs, right? So it
not on this one.
On which one?
Let me grab it.
I'll just insert some entertainment music here.
Basically, the only if I had like a dop of paint, it was still a dop, like a dapple, right? That was still like, the only time it was running is if okay. I'll see if you guys can see that.
Yeah, that's the one I've got too.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, so I find my paint still separates a bit on it overnight.
Too much water.
Yeah,
so mine has water. It's wet. Like I don't know, it really can't bad, but it's not like running.
Got it.
Now when I picked it up, the paint was still wet. I went downstairs and I just like ran some water on the clean side down here, and just sort of like let it flow around the edge and just kind of like refresh the palette. And yeah,
because Jess actually asked me about that the other night. She said, what's the point of the wet palette? Like, is it even lasting between sessions? And I said, it runs a bit, so you have to remix it. But to me, a big point is that you don't have to add as much water to your paint as well. It stays.
Yeah, I think that's true too. Like, I think if you got too much water, it'll like go into the paint and let it like run. Mark, so the palette is called the Exemplary palette, and I have they make that. They make some handles for and then I've
still got the new red grass one coming too.
I'll be interested to see what you think of it.
I do really like on that one that you held up the paint holder section.
Yeah, so I don't know if people see
the paintbrush holder. Yeah, in there.
And actually, there's a plastic. Let me get this out of the way. There's actually like a plastic palette that sits in here that I have removed, and then there's room for brushes. And I also like the fact that there's a little thing here that you can. It's an air vent. So like, if you want to seal it off, you leave the vent closed, right? And if you want to open it up, you can. You can open it up. So I think that's pretty cool to make it airtight. I really like that. I also really like the constitution or the physical density of the sponge. It's like nothing I've felt before. It's like it's not like a kitchen sponge. It's Well, you know what it is? It feels like cross-linked polyethylene, which
and having the clips around the edges helps as well.
4 clips, yeah, it keeps it nice and tight. Yeah, and I don't know if you tried their new cup that folds together. They have a paint pot cup thing that like collapses down.
Oh, right.
I don't know if you guys seen that.
More entertaining music.
Yeah, right here. So here it is, and then it just there you go. And it's got ridges on the bottom, like they I don't know what people say that, but ridges on the bottom for rubbing your paint, I guess. But I like it because it's got a scalloped edge, so you can lay brushes across the top. It's really nice. Even though I don't know about you, paint pot wise, I use the Citadel cup, that big gray thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? The Citadel, the GW paint pot.
Yes.
And you can go on Thingiverse and get like an STL file for like a ring that drops over with a paintbrush holder. And so that's what I've got.
Would the ridges? I wonder if anyone on the chat knows what are the ridges for? Is that for the sediment to settle in, or?
I think it's to rub your brush against it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Well, that's true too. You know, they do have the thing here, so you can open up the hinge door, put your phone right there, you know, and you can watch Connor Charge on live streams on Monday nights.
Yeah, that's true.
Or listen to our podcast. But you don't really need to have that live if you're gonna. Yeah.
True.
So Mark says
we have our latest episode coming out today, don't we? Based on the Army Challenge.
Well, it comes out at 12 a.m. Wednesday morning. So for you, like just a few minutes away, right? So for us, about one more day. It clocked in about a little over an hour. There's a clip from each of the hosts, and then there's also, I don't know, maybe like, I can count.
I think it was 3 or 4 people called in.
More than that, we've got Bill Harvat, Matthew Temple, Ben Stoddard, John Paul, Kara Brown, Mark Temple, and Trent. So we got was that 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 or 7? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's good. A pretty good amount back for us.
Yeah. Chuck up Paul's latest comment about why it's ridged at the bottom.
I like that.
I do.
That's a good one.
My brushes mustn't be very happy brushes, that's for sure.
So, what else did you do this weekend? This is Memorial Day here, so you know what that means. America! You know, like we got to go to the movies and stuff. Man, I went to see Maverick. Man. Oh, man. I'm one of these old people that actually applaud studios when they give the fans what they want. Like, give me some fan service. Man,
you like the chocolate cake?
Yes, with and I'll have the icing on top too. And so, like when the movie started off with the same exact verbiage from the first movie, where it says like in 1969, America started, like literally like same verbiage from the first movie, and then the classic Jerry Bruckheimer, Michael Bay, Golden Hour on the carrier deck, Highway to the Danger Zone playing. They're like launching shit, you know, just like the first movie. You're like, okay, this is why I'm here. 30 years in the making,
you just
baby.
Like this and strap yourself in.
Yeah, I was like, let's go. Now, my daughter, Aubrey, by the way, Aubrey joins us for the episode coming up. She does the intro. I had to pay her. And she pissed and moaned the whole time, but it's there. So, but so me and my wife and Aubrey went to see the movie. It was pretty fun. It was cool. It was. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it brings back all the feels of the original movie. It does a great job of tying back. So I am, this movie's like 2 years old, or 3 years old at this point when they shot it, and they just held on to it until COVID was finally over to release it. And smart move. I mean, they're the number one. Well, I don't know how hard it is to be, but number one movie at the box office right now. And Memorial Day weekend is a perfect time to release a military movie, right? So one thing I did find funny is, there's not a spoiler, but like there's a bad guy in the movie. Is it China? Is it Russia? They don't really say. Just a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like,
why not both?
Yeah, well, it could be, but there's snow, there's like mountains with snow on it, so I guess that could be China or Russia, right? True. But Tom Cruise, that's why you pay him, right? That's why you pay him to show up, right? I mean, amazing stuff, and all the cast of characters with him, great. Val Kilmer, this isn't really a spoiler, but he's in it, great. You know, you probably never even seen Top Gun, have you?
Seen what? Top Gun? Yes, I have.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I have, mate.
Well, you're like 30 something, right? So I'm like, you were
Yeah,
born back when that movie came out in what 80?
But yeah, right. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that. I think I'll rewatch the original.
Definitely worth it.
I noticed it popped up on Apple Movies the other day.
There's a ton of like little like, if you pay attention, there's lots of physical like cute clues or ties.
I do like that when they do effective reboots and then they still work the old characters in somehow for cameos. You know, the old actors. Yeah, I do enjoy that.
Well, there's really only one big actor, and that's obviously Tom Cruise. And he's essentially he's like not only worked in, he's like he's the plot. I mean, he's everything. He's Tom Cruise, man. So that was really awesome. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, other than that, I've been just doing tons and tons and tons of terrain.
I started watching this. Documentary is probably a little bit of a stretch. It's a series on Netflix called Drive to Survive about F1 car racing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want me to?
I'm not generally a motorsport fan.
All right, but do you want me to like spoil the magic, or you just want me to just keep quiet?
Well, I know they do chop and change, like they take things.
So it's a drama that's fictional.
It's a drama.
So to the point where several of the drivers this year said, "I'm not doing it anymore because it's stupid."
Yeah.
You're like making me hate this person. I don't really hate this person. So the number one driver, Verstappen, from last year, is not in this season. But you enjoyed it? I watched the first 3 seasons. I loved it. Or first 2, I loved it.
Yeah, and I'm not a motorsport fan. I watched it because my brother is. He's super into the F1, and he said, "Oh, you should watch."
It's really a lot of drama. Yeah, a lot of drama.
Yeah, and you can imagine that there would be, right, when there's that much money involved. You know, I don't think. While I know that a lot of it was cut and that to staged, you know, I still think, you know, there would be a fair bit of bitching and drama in a high money sport like that.
Oh, for sure. I have my daughter stock my fridge, and I got all kinds of beverages here. I'm super excited.
So yeah, and Jess has been really liking it as well, and she is anti-sport full
It's
stop.
pretty good, especially the first 2 years when you got Gunther from Haas Motor. He's awesome.
From Haas.
That guy. Yeah, and then the guy that they ends up getting fired. He's not in this season, I don't think. The guy from Renault, which was the yellow team back in the day.
Yeah.
Now they're Alpine, right? But it's. I don't know if you saw the Monaco GP this weekend, but it was amazing. It always is. But torrential rain downfall made for a very interesting race.
Yeah. No, I didn't catch it this weekend. I was planning on watching it back on KO.
Yeah. Well, I won't spoil it. Trying to think what else has been going on. I mean, just terrain. We have 36 paid, and I think we have room. We have room for a couple more. We're technically sold out, but if people reach out to me and want to come, I'll find a spot for you. I mean, we're we have room. I mean, Mike is running a 54 player event this week at the store for $40K. So if 40K is on slightly smaller tables, so that's the thing. But we can certainly do 40. You know, so if you really want to come, and just breaking news, Keith Randall's going to show up now because now that the level of competition meets his needs, so he's coming. So we got some good players coming. So I think we have the top 3 players from the Southeast will be there: Nathan, Keith, and Jeff. So what's interesting? No Texas players. Is that a positive or negative? Discuss.
Well, Texas is typically the most competitive, right? And you didn't originally start it as a competitive.
Are they? Like in my event, soft scores aren't going to win you this event. You're going to have to win on the table. So
yeah, right.
So I don't know. So maybe that's why they're staying away, because they're like, damn,
they're scared.
They only get like 10%.
They're not going to back their gameplay.
And sports isn't going to get you anything in my event. Not for overall. It might give you a fancy medal. Or actually, we give out guitars, I should say. Obviously, Memphis is known for Gibson. Gibson Guitar Factory is in Nashville, and we had one here. So we got like these 3D printed Gibsons that Mike paints. Pretty cool. Well, Chuck, put up or shut up, bro. Come on, man.
Well, we know
But
that
have-
Texas is located at the bottom of America for a reason, right? You know.
Well, they're protecting our border. I think that's they're real busy right now. So
Somewhere's got to be the arse end.
that's not Australia.
No, that's Tasmania in Australia.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny is so I have an employee that lives in well he's German but he lives in Switzerland. He works in Switzerland, and we were just doing a one-on-one last week, and he's like, I want to go to New Zealand. I'm like, okay. So we were just like pulling up a map, and it's like, you guys have a lot of like islands and stuff around that country, like,
Yeah.
and that country is like big, and there's like everybody lives like in one little spot, and then you got Perth. It's like I'm just like, what's in between? Nothing.
Nothing. Dirt. Sand. No, actually, that's a movie I watched over the weekend. Gas is high. Yeah.
It is expensive.
Again, I am thanking my lucky stars that I got an electric car in time. But what we're talking about? Oh, movie I watched. I watched Uncharted.
Love it.
How good was it? Again,
I saw it in a movie theater. Awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Again, chocolate cake.
Yeah. Tom Holland. I like Tom Holland. I like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Like, just give me like Indiana Jones, modern time. It's like Indiana Jones mixed with National Treasure. Great. Let's do this.
I actually reckon Mark Wahlberg did a cracking job of his.
He's
character.
awesome as like the old man, like all the jokes he takes. He was great as like the straight man for once. Usually he's the up and comer, and this time it was like the role reversal.
And I love seeing the Magellan map of the first map of the whole world with no Australia.
Okay. No, I actually didn't notice that. I'll have to go back and watch that. So
Yeah.
obviously, other big news, TV. I mean, we won't spoil anything here, but Netflix brought out the first half of the next season for Stranger Things.
Oh, is it only the first half?
Yeah, so the 7 episodes now as of Friday, and then 7 more episodes in July. So I think that's how it's going to work.
I haven't started watching it yet, but I did notice that. And Disney released the Obi-Wan Kenobi files.
We'll save it until next week. I have some thoughts, and they're not all positive thoughts, but
So you watched it?
Watch the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
All I'll say is, I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil anything. But maybe next week we'll do a spoiler thing. I'm just like, hey, spoilers. It's not really a spoiler. Just there's a character in the movie that kind of, I'm not sure that her motives actually reflect like her station in life. You know.
So it's about how the character is written.
Yeah, just the way she's going through it. So
what do you think of the casting?
I loved it. I think it was great. I think the fact that Uncle Owen is in the movie from the prequel trilogy, awesome. It's fan service, dude. Fan service. Jimmy Smits coming back in is Organa. I mean, great. And here's the thing I didn't think I was gonna like. Oh crap, a 10-year-old Princess Leia. I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, I was like, okay, kiddie movie, but it worked. It worked for me. The one part that I'm still struggling with is one of the Inquisitors. I don't know. She came off as impetuous, which Inquisitors are like a lot of things. But if Ventress from the Clone Wars showed you anything, they know where the line is. And when their boss says stop, they stop or they get their head cut off, right? Like, so they're
Clones for a reason, right?
Yeah. But other than that, I can't, and then, no spoilers, but the end of part 2 was, woo, juicy time. Can't wait.
How many parts are going to be? Do we know?
Well, I think it's 6 or 7, but they've already released 2 episodes. So,
and they're hour long?
40 minutes. Now, here's what's weird. I think they're 40 minutes, maybe longer. The Netflix episodes are like an hour each, over an hour. I think the one we watched episode 3 today, and it was an hour and 17 minutes. So like they're look, I'm getting old, man. I have to use the restroom and stuff. I can't sit still for that long, man. Maverick was about as was a real struggle, So, but yeah, it's a great time to be a nerd. Here's your answer: 42 minutes, 58 minutes. Pretty good. I've got you doctors, man. I swear it's a racket though, right? Because like I went in, He's like, let me vacuum you out. Okay, I'll see you next week, and another $50. So like, okay, at what point are you gonna be like done? Because like I've already had 2 post surgery visits. So if he says it one more time, oh, I'll see you next week, I'm gonna kick him in the nuts. Like I'm like, come on.
Welcome to the American healthcare system, mate.
Well, yeah, maybe.
When you've got cover, they'll milk you for it, and then when you don't have cover, good luck to you.
Yeah,
you may as well be dead.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of feel like legitimately he probably is doing something. He's going in there and just watching this. At this point, the swelling is almost completely gone, and so hopefully, yeah, it was good though. I will say, Obi-Wan, it takes me back to the Mandalorian when the first Mandalorian came out. I was like, oh,
yeah,
we're like, okay, this is legit. You know, there's been a lot of Star Wars projects that, as a hard, I mean, dude, I mean,
they really dropped the ball with the last one, didn't they? What was that?
Boba Fett.
Yeah,
it was okay. I did my part. Like I took reality and threw it over my shoulder and tried not to bring a bunch of stuff into this thing with me. So I bought off on it, but like it still had some moments where you're like, this is just too far fetched even for me to believe.
And some of it was just boring to me.
Well, I kind of get where they were going, trying to build a backstory on Boba Fett. Like what happened after the Sarlacc pit? I get it.
Yeah, I wonder if Mr. Coos had been on tonight, I bet he would have hated Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Probably. He hates everything. He come on, he's a hater. Let's be honest. He's a hater. But you know, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's weird. When I had this realization a while now, but when you're a kid, everything's cool. Everything's great. You know, and as you look back through the glasses of nostalgia, everything's awesome. But the older you get, like the more critical you get of stuff, you know, and the modern Star Wars movies didn't do it for me.
No, but generally I don't try. I try to watch movies without that nostalgia. Like, I mean, I know it's hard, but I when I sit down in front of a movie, I just look at it and I go, am I entertained or am I not? You know, I don't look into the is it, you know, does it fit completely with the other stories, blah, blah, blah. I just want to be entertained.
So, Chuck, are you referencing the actual Ice Pirates movie with Robert Urich? Because that movie is badass. And my daughter, to her credit, is a 80s nerd to the point where she's seen that movie. And it's badass. And it has turns out, a lot of humor that in today's society, not okay for a 13-year-old. So my wife was not happy, but I love it. Okay, good. Yeah, if you haven't seen Ice Pirates, it is a freaking romp of a movie. The premise
you and Chuck are showing your age there, mate.
Yeah. Well, the premise is like water is it's kind of got like that Spaceball vibe where water is a rare commodity, and there's like this factory that's making ice, and ice pirates, they like hijack, right? You know, hijack steal the shipments, and that's what that's what I call them, ice pirates. But it's just it's on HBO Max. I love it. It's and pirate just robots that have pirate accents are hilarious, and not good accents like R-E and they fight and they're just Felix, I kind of have that same theory that like they're just they try to get a new. But here's the thing. They don't want it. Like they have their own stuff. They don't. Like you're trying to force them to get into this new I don't know, this new universe, right? But they already have tons of stuff. They don't. At least my daughter was like, Now this is the reason to watch. Yes. This is the reason you have to watch Ice Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is with Disney is that they're there to make money off movies, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to keep punching them out, and they're going to bring a movie that the kids potentially want to see, and the adults will still see, even if you've been disappointed in Disney because it's got the nostalgia factor.
I'm going to give you one.
But they're not making it for the adults; they're making it for the kids.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Oh my god!
Such an amazing movie.
What?
Yes.
No, my daughter had that on yesterday. It was awful.
Did you watch it? It's actually no. You got to watch it.
No, I just heard it in the background.
It's written by Saturday Night Live people. It's all Saturday Night Live people in it. It has an all-star cast. It is meta, like it is self-aware. I'm gonna spoil one thing, and this is when I knew that we're watching something different. Dale is at a convention as himself in today's society. You know who's across from him? Ugly Sonic. Do you remember the first Sonic, computer-generated Sonic that was ugly? The fan were like, it's terrible, and they changed it. They brought back Ugly Sonic, and it's the voice and everything. Ugly Sonic, like he had a booth, and he's explaining, like, dude, it's so self-aware that it was. It's just crazy. Yes, there is an underpinning of a kids movie there.
Yeah, well, I will admit that I didn't actually watch it. All I could do was hear it in the background. I was like, this sounds awful.
No. So, like, Chip and Dale have a show, right? Back in the 90s, they split their own separate ways. Now Chip is selling insurance, and Dale is like a has-been actor doing the convention circuit. I mean, dude. And then Chip goes, I decided that, or Dale decides he's going to get the 3D makeover. So he's 3D, and Chip is still... like 2D animation.
Right. Is that what it's all about?
Yeah,
okay.
dude, I'm telling you, like little jokes in there, dude. If you listen, you're like, oh my God, that's funny. That's funny. And I will say, Roger Rabbit was the penultimate, like the ultimate like crossover movie with things. Nope. They don't have anything on Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale has Batman, has E.T., has Transformers, Care Bears. Like every pop culture thing in the last 30 years are in that movie. And they have screen time. And they talk. I'm just saying, dude, like it's almost sensory overload. We had to watch it twice because like I didn't get all the references the first time. The only criticism I have, there's a character that's supposed to be Gumby. That obviously is supposed to be Gumby. They must have not got the rights for it. Because they did their own Gumby version of this gumshoe detective. And it would have been hilarious if that would have been Gumby. You know Gumby, right? The green character with Pokey. Yeah. Yeah. See, Bill even said, like, when Ugly Sonic showed up, I'm like, wait a minute. That's not the Sonic they used in the movie. That's the one that the fans screamed about. I almost peed my pants. It is really funny. And so
profile pic, by the way, Bill.
Yes. So my suggestion, people should watch it. Give it a shot. It's written by. There's a lot of Saturday Night Live influence on it, which could be, depending on your, I haven't been a fan of like current Saturday Night Live stuff lately, but this was pretty funny. And Andy Samberg plays one of the voices, and then he plays Dale, and then there's another character from the show from Saturday Night Live that you probably don't know, but he's Chip, and hey, you'll love this. So do you remember Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers?
Yes.
Montgomery Jack, right?
Yeah,
big fat guy. So they got Eric Bana to play him, and Eric is Australian, right?
Yeah. So
perfect. So I don't know if the original actor wasn't available, but he was spot on, dude. His Aussie voice was cracking.
Yeah.
And they have Muppets in it, dude. Like, it's just like, there's just too much. It's too much. I was just like, every 5 seconds you turn around and you see something different. I'm telling you. Ask your daughter what she thinks. I'm telling you, she probably thought it was great.
Oh, after the first 2 minutes, all I could hear was it, and Jess said, "We're turning this off," and she sat there and she went, "No, it's my favorite." And she's like, she'd never seen it before, not even 3. And I'm like, all right, you can watch it through.
It's good, man. And there really isn't any. I'm just telling you, it's self-aware, and they make fun of things like. Like the movie industry, like in other parts of the world where they make cheap knockoffs of like Disney movies and you end up on Netflix or whatever. Like, so they kind of spoof that too as well. It's great. Yeah. If you haven't seen it. Man, we talked a lot about not Kings of War. Have we done any? I mean, obviously,
yeah. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, sometimes we just need to vent a little bit, and so Kings of War. What other hobbies do you have? Do you have any other hobbies?
Nah, I just I like computer. I play Total War Warhammer. That's about literally. I've got a nice, powerful computer, and that's pretty much the only game I play on it.
Funny you say that. I just, maybe people don't know this. So my daughter, hey, I gotta play the Minecraft. So I had a pretty nice laptop with an actual gaming card in it, and so now she has that in her room. And so I'm like, here's a top tip for people that are listening: if you need your wife to be like, hey, you can get another computer, get your daughter to tell your wife that hey, I really want Dad's computer down here, and then can we replace his upstairs with something else? So long story short, now I have a Lenovo, which used to be IBM, gaming PC with an actual NVIDIA graphics card. So I actually got something now that I can play some better games. But I'm lame, dude. If it's not Age of Empires, I'm probably not playing it.
Yeah. Total War Warhammer 2 was probably my favorite Total War ever. 3, I'm not so far vibing as much because I don't vibe any of the armies they released with it. So I'm hanging in there for the Immortal Empires upgrade, which basically, because I own them all, will give every army from the old world.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's weird you say that. I don't have any. It's going to sound really strange. The farther I get away from the old world, the less I want to go back to it.
And look, honestly, I think it's just I don't necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of nostalgia without being nostalgia. I don't play it necessarily for Tyrion or for anyone like that. I think the things that I'm familiar with and the game surrounding it is quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but so far I haven't enjoyed 3 as much as I've enjoyed 2.
I used to Shogun Total War was probably my favorite. I used to love that game.
Yeah, Shogun was pretty good. Yep. Yeah, I just Felix is claiming that I'm playing it during the stream. No, I haven't got a computer capable of it at work, unfortunately, Felix.
And that's a conscious decision on his part because he wouldn't get any work done if he did.
Exactly. It's bad enough being able to play UB on a browser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so. Just as a reminder, we're here every Monday night trying to chat about usually more Kings of War stuff. If you missed it, we did talk about some Kings of War at the beginning. We did have a couple games. Now next weekend is Bug Eater, and so it'll be interesting. Bill
Hobby Challenge starts on the 1st.
And right, good reminder. June 1st it starts. We'll have an episode coming out June 1st with obviously the hosts' commitments, and a little bit more than the commitment. It kind of details out if we thought of color schemes or theme, basing. There's a lot of cool stuff there. And then we've had, thanks to the 7 of you that send in clips, really appreciate that. And not everybody's doing Kings of War. There's a few people that are doing Firefight, which is totally awesome. And not too late to jump in the challenge. You still have a full day. You still have the 31st of May here in the United States and Canada to enter. And so really looking forward to it. I'm excited to see the progress of everybody. And then seeing what Ronnie Renton does not get painted.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Well, Austin, you want to take us out? Thanks everybody for sticking with us.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Until next time, keep countercharging.